This is the Khoodeelaar television channel broadcasting on the internet under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto editions. This one is 16:18 GMT this morning, but the actual time for the records is different, 16:40 GMT. And this is the British Standard Time is 17:19 now. Yesterday, Saturday, the 14th of September 2024, the Times newspaper ran a story about animal testing on infection, especially as a result of reports about Germany and France, where farmers are dealing with the infections of mainly lambs. And there is the possibility that the infections might spread to the United Kingdom. So that's the context and that's the reference to the evilness, depraved deference, evilness personified, Christian evilness, middleness. It's Christian evilness that actually mounted the attack, series of attacks on the baby angel Geronimo. And it's Christian evilness, middleness. As a thief veterinary surgeon for the UK government that harassed Helen MacDonald. And Helen MacDonald, according to the item carried by one of the Mirror Group newspapers, is still undergoing therapy. That is the trauma that has been caused for caring and defending and looking after the world's bestest, most innocent, the perfectly healthiest baby angel Geronimo. So we shall be looking at the wider implications of this report about testing that the Times London newspaper carried on Saturday, the 14th of September 2024. And we shall accordingly update the manifesto editions of the baby angel Geronimo programs on the Khoodeelaar television channel. There is one view that I have picked up from Bangladeshi man who used to live in Bethnal Green and who had a conversation with me within the last hour, let's say. So he said the general greetings and he gave me a salam. Heard the greeting and he gave me a salam as he left. And he said that Sheikh Hasina is being mad to let the idea spread that she is going to go back to Bangladesh. There is no chance, he said. And he also said that he wonders why the current regime, the interim Bangladesh regime post 5th of August 2024, he kept saying that he doesn't understand why the current regime are not arresting Awami League miscreants and criminals. That is what he was wondering, and that is something that appears to be the general question among many people, that ordinary people, not party political members, but general ordinary demography, Bangladeshi demography abroad. We shall be updating on all of these. And he said that, the same man said that India, not Modi, is having problems in Manipur in the eastern part of India. And also there are problems in Kerala. Quite what he was referring to, I'll find out. Because he had to go, so he left the conversation before completing the conversation. One of the things that I was talking about in the previous edition was about the idea that I've had 51 years. As soon as I encountered the racist atmosphere in the United Kingdom 51, 52 years ago, I felt that the most important way to deal with that was to try to unite the obvious targets of racist attacks and harassment and deprivation. But the issue that actually is in need of sorting, the most of the people in the demography of the targeted communities are ignorant, very selfish, very greedy, and very hostile to others in the same demography. And that is something that needs to be clearly understood. I mean, there is no confusion as to the propaganda line that the British state has always maintained in spreading, that migrants are causing problems. That is a blatant, intentional lie. The migrants are the ones that keep the economy going. All the factories and other operations, most of them are being kept in motion by the arrival of generations of so-called migrants, asylum seekers, or whatever. So they actually then have a long record of knowing how to deal with the people coming from the mainland Africa and Asia, and also coming from the Caribbean, where the likes of the Windrush people came. And they know how to manage them, and they know how to divide, and then how they also know how to inject into them mutual hostility and hatred, incite hatred, and that is what Tommy Robinson has done. And what he has done is to say that he will unite the anti-Muslim, what he calls the anti-jihadi people, which has got short shrift from the various representatives of the religious groups that he has been targeting. Of England, the Jewish rabbi, chief rabbi, and the head of the Hindu kind of organization. But Tommy Robinson has not done anything original. What he has done is to revive something that has been in the establishment's agenda for decades, to divide people on whatever lines, religious lines, ethnic lines, lines of nationality, etc. That takes us back in the subcontinent to 1757. The revolution, the rebellion by the Sikh, Muslim, Hindu recruits into the Indian army, British army. That is when they wanted to divide people based on their religions and to make them hate one another. And so they spread myths and lies and misinformation. More than 100 years, nearly 200 years before the internet came into being, as the technology vehicles to spread misinformation through. Misinformation was already there. And the misinformation that I encountered in the particular battle that I organized in defense of the parent governors at the then Stratford School in London E15, the London Borough of Newham, I found that the misinformation had been effectively carried out against Muslims because the chair of the governors, parent governors, at the Stratford School was a Muslim, Ghulam Rasul Shahid. And they focused on the Muslimness of this man. And there were Afro Caribbean parents, Hindu parents, who suddenly disappeared as soon as I appeared with the organization, London Collective of Black Governors, to defend the parent governors. Absolutely significant. Sudden vanishing act happened. A Caribbean parent went to Birmingham, and a Hindu parent became silent. Not only that, there were little Siloti speaking morons, the midgets, that actually were quoted by the Guardian group or the Guardian the Observer because they became jealous in the narrowest possible sense. And as became quite clear in the launch edition of the Devil's Advocate, which was aired on Channel 4 but was recorded, produced by the London Weekend Television in March 1992. The criminals who had done the research for the audience could not choose a more inappropriate group of people to hire to kind of see if they could heckle me from the audience. They could not choose a more inappropriate group because this group was completely unfit to face the truth that I was representing. And the role of the liar, thief, and a crook, I called Usman Ghani a thief, liar, and a crook to his face, live television program. That had the effect of silencing any other possible interrupters that they had recruited and what they had done. It was dark as dirty how? and Freak Dondi and Trevor Terrible Phillips. All of them must have scoured all of Tower Hamlets, which is the base to to pick possible objectors or possible kind of protesters against me. There was no way. So when Osman Ghani, completely without any factual basis, stood up and said, because of me, his son was being deprived of an education in Newark. I said, he's a liar and he's a thief and a crook. What could possibly be the response to any of the three accusations based on the facts of his life, career? So there are so many instances, episodes of the confrontation between the criminals that produced the program and the community and the propagandists. Misinformation was the basis on which they capitalized darkest dirty how Trevor Terrible Phillips, Freak Dondi and other criminals conspired to sabotage my appearance as the main guest on the launch program of The Devil's Advocate, on, which was broadcast on Channel 4. So these are the initiatives that I made or I took to unite the communities, African, Caribbean, Africans, Indians, Hindus, and Bangladeshi Muslims. And I even tried to take action in solidarity with the mainly Pakistanis in Bradford on a later occasion. But these people are brainwashed. They may be Muslims, they may be targets of white imperialist racism, but they are also at the same time very jealous. In the Siloti original word, Zeed, it's not the Bengali word, Jeed, which means determination. Zeed in Siloti means deepest possible spite and jealousy and rivalry. I'm sitting now here at 1736 hours British Standard Time outside the precinct of this evilly wrongly named Joy Foundation, within which precinct in the evening, like from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock till midnight, the three baby kittens have been prevented from being fed by me for the last about 6 weeks. For about 2 months, I fed them. And about 6 weeks ago, the criminals controlling the premise, so called Joy Foundation, have been physically obstructing me. And as I have observed in the previous editions of this broadcast, it is simply not to interrupt, not to upset, and not to expose them to any threat by the criminals, any disruption by the criminals, I mean the kittens. Them meaning expose them, meaning expose the kittens. The black and white one, the grey one, and the shuri look one. It is in order to maintain the equilibrium, the status quo, the corruptly created status quo, but that is a status quo so undisturbed, so that I'm not doing anything physical, which I could easily do. And in the last 30 years, I have resisted so many Well, more than 30 years. I have resisted so many temptations, physical provocations from so many mental slaves in order to preserve the greater interests of the greater agenda. So, this is what I'm doing. I'm defending the general agenda, the narrative protection of the baby kittens, just as I defended the safety of so many of the undeserving people. But I have been doing that for my principle. It's just like my grandfather, the Shah, helping people. This is a kind of misguided thing called David. He's a fucking sick, completely lunatic moron.